servants. Now, Johor State Government has agreed that for Hari Raya Aidilfitri, there will be a half a month bonus of salary or a minimum of 1,000 ringgit to all state civil servants.
That's right. It's extremely great news. You know, you can go out there and start shopping, head out to Jekyll.
That's right.
You know, I think we spoke about this 2 days ago. Penang had a similar initiative whereby, the civil servants were given bonuses similar to the amount as Johor State Government. And we talked about how we hope other states would emulate and implement the same sentiment that was given by Penang. And now you see Johor and Malacca, thankfully, they are doing the same.
Yep.
And the first payment of RM500 will actually be made on May 21st.
That's right, May 21st, and the balance will be paid latest by May 31st. So it was inevitable. I had a discussion in Elaine, and definitely it's something that's going to be emulated by the rest of the states, and we hope that reaching towards the festive month, it will be good news for all of our civil servants.
That's right, and Malacca Chief Minister as well says the bonus, they will receive bonus 1,000 ringgit each during Aidilfitri. But we talked about Aidilfitri. I do hope this sort of initiative will also be done not just for Aidilfitri, but we're talking about Deepavali, Christmas.
Yep.
It's Satu Malaysia at the end of the day, right?
Unfortunately, while we were talking about all the festivities and things that are coming up, it's sad to be able to note that there has been an increase in the amount of cyberbullying, and most recently we heard about the death of a young 16-year-old teen in Sarawakian. So the Communications and Multimedia Act, CMA 1998, may be amended to better tackle cyberbullying and online suicide attempts, especially in the wake of the recent sad death of 16-year-old Sarawakian girl.
That's right. I think this is a very sad case indeed, and this was actually being done. She actually performed this act, after posting on her Instagram and doing a poll.
That's right.
And 69% of those polled voted the latter, which is death.
Yeah. To me, the disturbing or the worrying trend is that children and teens are actually taking to the internet and taking to social media to find out whether or not they should continue with life or how they should tackle and handle peer pressures and problems. So this is something that we really need to address, Sonia.
That's right. We talked about parents playing a role in managing the children's social media usage. Right. I think monitoring the social media usage is one, but I think teachers, schools also play a vital role in addressing the bullying cases. Perhaps a government should give more training to more counselors, so that all this kind of devastation.
Yeah. I've been speaking to a lot of educators, families and friends, and also those that are working in the higher institution as well as educationists. A lot of them are talking about the fact that there is a need to build resilience among our teen and our children so that they'll be able to address social issues and address peer pressure in a more positive way. So there's also been a report on suicidal postings, and so MCMC or the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission has also said that reports should be directly made to the police if you feel or suspect that your family members or friends are actually being maltreated or bullied online.
That's right. It's great to see that initiative is being taken by the authorities. It's good to act fast. They're very vigilant on this. If you have any reports to make, you can make it via online at Aduan, ADUANS KMM, Aduan SKMM at mcmc.gov.my or WhatsApp MCMC at 0162206 according to the Commission in a statement.
That's right. And also for those who may want someone to speak to or also feel a little bit lonely, we would suggest please at least call NGOs, for example, like the Befrienders, and their number you can contact them at 603-795-68145. So remember, whatever problems and whatever issues that you have, you are not alone. Please reach out.
That's right. And now moving on, we have the 30-day festive season price control for Hari Raya extended to June 19th. Previously it was just for 15 days, but now they have moved it to 30 days. So that's good news, everyone. The duration of the festive season price control scheme this year has been, includes the addition of 27 types of goods compared to 21 previously.
That's right. So you've got everything from fresh to frozen fishes, from ikan kembung, selayang fish, as well as other things like long beans and ground nuts. I remember a few years ago they were talking about things like even kolok mee and things like that were actually included. So the mince ministry has given assurance that there will be sufficient food supplies during Ramadan as well as the upcoming Hari Raya, with 10% increase in supplies compared to the previous year.
I think that was one of the good news. There's also the good news about the Selangor Ramadan Bazaar.
That's right.
Not having any price hikes during this festive season.
That's right.
But of course, this issue has been going on for quite a while. Some were also complaining that, despite these efforts that are being introduced, the price of, for example, the chickens, all those goods are still not standard around Malaysia. So I hope, probably more effective action will be taken to make sure that this price remains standard, not just in...
I think what you're saying is an important point. Now, other than that, we've also been talking about, for example, wastage. So yesterday, Elaine and I were discussing about food wastage during Ramadan, when it's actually supposed to be the month of abstinence. And Hari Raya, although it's a celebratory month and a month for festivities, we should also be looking at, are we panic buying? Do we have enough ketupats in the house? Or the things that we need to do to be able to feed the masses that are coming home, but also not cause that much wastage.
That's right. I think it's always good to spend wisely as well, and especially with the increasing number of food wastage in the household in Malaysia. Apparently, each household actually consumes or at the end of the day produce 1 kilos of wastage.
That's right. So, in our next story, Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim has already mentioned Dr. Mahathir, or Tun Mahathir has also mentioned that he will play a key role. So, PKR President Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim said that Tun Dr. Mahathir will still play a pivotal role in the country as a statement even after the change of leadership. So this has been a much talked about transition.
That's right. I think Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim, quote unquote, said, even if I take over the leadership, Dr. Mahathir will still play a role as a statesman who has contributed a lot to the country. Prior to GE14, Pakatan Harapan parties agreed that if the coalition won, Dr. Mahathir would be the Prime Minister for 2 years before handing over.
And we will be coming back right after this break, so stay tuned.
That's right.
Politics, business, sports, and entertainment, in and out of the country, across all media spectrum, online and offline. BNC believes in giving you all angles of the story, without fear and without prejudice. News in the real sense of the word.
That was nice.
After all, this is all about you.
Wouldn't it be nice if we can get them to explain how they intend to build 100,000 affordable homes in a year?
It would be even better if you can get all of them to clarify their program, the local government, the state government, and the federal minister.
Wouldn't it be nice if we can get Bank Negara to explain how they intend to help with home ownership?
It would be even better to sit face to face and commit to their role to make it a success.
Wouldn't it be nice if we can ask all these burning questions on behalf of property developers and investors?
It would be even better if you can drill them to the brink to get more than their usual motherhood statement.
I think we should put Dan on our property hot seat. What do you think?
Of course, Vincent, if they're there.
And if you dare, send us an email with all your burning questions.
And together, we'll get you all the answers.
Tiada agenda tersembunyi. Tiada ruang berteka-teki. Temu bual eksklusif menjawab segala persoalan. Saksikan Up Sound setiap Rabu 8.30 malam hanya di Bernama News Channel. Semuanya tentang anda.
Hi, Salam Ramadan. I'm Nadia and welcome back to Bernama today. So we have our in-house specialist, Mr. Mike. And today we're going to be touching about the release of the first quarter gross domestic product GDP figure by Bank Negara. So thank you for being with us. As we speak, Bank Negara is having a press conference as we speak on the release of Malaysia's economic growth rates. So the GDP for the first quarter of 2019, and that PC began sometime at 11. So What are your thoughts?
Indeed, this first quarter GDP is very crucial because it's a reflection of how the economy fared under the new Pakatan Harapan coalition government. You know, there have been a lot of brickbats at the government for not moving the economy, you see.
That's right.
And there were some projections that the economy might moderate, not contract, moderate, grow at a lower pace. But surprisingly, the economy gross domestic product for the first quarter of this year, January to March, grew at about 4.5%. That means the economy expanded at a moderate rate compared to 4.7% in the last quarter, which was like October to December. So it's not so much of negative
So we didn't fare
news.
that bad, actually.
No,
Yeah.
because I think there is a lot of perception and alarmist kind of social media postings to show that our economy is really in the doldrums. No,
Yes, especially
our
the
economy is really doing well, but you must understand that we are also subservient and we are influenced by what happens in the global market. So, for example, why we went down to 4.5% was because you know, the US trade war between China and Washington, they're slapping tariffs on each other and all that. That started last year. And then, you know, there was a shutdown in the US government,
That's right.
which went on into the new year. So all these things had an effect on consumption. So the Americans bought less from China. So, and we sort of export to China. So when they buy less from China and we export less to China,
So we're
our
seeing a knockoff effect
it's
on
a
the different things that are
effect, you know.
happening.
So
That's
that kind
right,
of
you
thing,
know,
yeah.
and they always say when China sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold.
Yeah, so-
You know, you talked about you know, the concerns of the economy right now. What do you think are some of the measures that can be taken to stimulate the
But
economy?
you see, I think we go back to the government, which has asked for until next 2 years. I think when you're talking about 2018, you're talking about 3 years. Next 2 to 3 years, then the economy will really, you know, spring back and grow. But right now, we are influenced by many other factors, including oil prices,
That's right.
and including pressure on the Malaysian currency. But the good news, Sonia and Nadia, one of the main factors for pushing the economy in the first quarter was consumption. That is, you two buying things in the market.
So pushing
right.
for higher
So
consumption
buy
in the
more,
country.
buy more things
So that
in our
keeps on,
consumption. So
keeps
that
the
sort of
economy
stimulates the
going.
economy, lets the money go around. Money makes the world
Is
go
that
around.
the only measure that we can use to stimulate the economy? I'm sure there are quite a few measures that we're looking
No,
at. out there.
I think the budget gave out a lot of money. It was the most expansionary budget. But I think that the government should do more to boost the digital economy. And I think one of the issues here is that when the ringgit depreciates,
That's right.
our exports become more competitive, but things become cheaper in Malaysia. So it will be a good time to really push our services sector. And when I talk about the services sector, it is tourism. We can have medical tourism, we can Islamic tourism, we can ask people to visit us, you know. And when tourism, you're talking about services sector, fees will be coming into Malaysia. So that's an area we need to work on. The digital economy is one way, and also to push SMEs because they are the backbone of the economy.
All right, just going back to what you said earlier, Mr. Mike, you know, could you elaborate more on what you mean by digital economy? Probably to the viewers out there, if they want to know more.
Online shopping. What we
right.
see now, we are having Alibaba and Shopee from Singapore coming and dominating our markets. When we talk about our local, we're talking about Lazada and only one or two. We want more people to take up online shopping. Social entrepreneurs are using their handphones, selling their tudung, selling the batik, selling textiles, selling purses. Let them grow, social entrepreneurs, so that we need to push the digital economy. And you're talking about digital economy, you're talking about these foreign companies coming here. They are not taxed, you know.
Yes.
So we need to tax them. And I think come 2020 year assessment, I think they'll be taxed, and that will be another source of revenue for Malaysia. The other good news is that palm oil prices sort of come off a little bit. They're not so bad like last week.
That's right.
And the ringgit also has appreciated in the first quarter by 1.8 or 9% to the US dollar due to the influx of foreign portfolio funds to the tune of about 13.5 billion ringgit. So that's good news, you see.
Yes,
so I think we are sort of there, and from now on we will begin to expand. We'll begin to grow further and all that. So there's no time. This is no time for people to get alarmed over accusations that our economy is really slipping and we are bankrupted and all. Yes, we have problems. We have a lot of problems. And all. But I think the good thing is that the government is really taking the economic challenges by the
That's right. I think we do see very apparent initiatives. For example, the ECRL project.
That's right.
Previously, that was on 66 billion, now being reduced to 40 billion over. There are some good and bads that we see here. But also, could you share with us possibly any measures that we can be taken to stimulate the economy?
You see, when you mentioned the ECRL project, one of the things that came out of the renegotiation of the project was that Chinese investors were really happy with the way that the Malaysian government sort of renegotiated and put the project back on track. See, and they have asked for Malaysia to set up a one-stop agency because they want to invest in Malaysia.
Okay.
So they don't want to deal with so many departments, state departments, and all that. So this will be the beginning of Chinese inflow of investments into Malaysia in a way that there will be mutual benefits to both countries, not in a way that will end up as a debt trap. As is
That's
the
an
case
important point.
Yeah, that is the case in Sri Lanka. But anyway, I think we have started have a good start and all that. So I think looking forward. But what I'm saying that the second round of a trade war between the US and China started. China is talking about 60 billion worth of tariffs, on US imports, and the US is talking about 200 billion worth of Chinese imports. So that will have another.
So what would be the implications on Malaysia for that?
Because, like I said, we export intermediate goods to China. We sell a lot of parts that are used to make handphones in China.
That's right.
And handphones in China are really saleable all over the world.
That's right.
We'll be affected to a certain extent. We need to diversify our revenue, our markets. For example, palm oil. We need to find new markets. We need to. And the other good news is that while you're talking about markets, oil price has sort of increased. So it has come to about $71 to $72 per barrel. That's really good news. Let's pray it goes up to $80.
Wow.
That's really good because the economy is.
It's good news for the economy, but then now we're not encouraging people to take public transportation.
Yeah, but then we are a net we are a next exporter of palm oil. I mean,
That's
of crude oil, you see.
That's right.
So we get a lot of money. For every $1 it goes up, we get about 300 million ringgit.
Okay. So before we continue, we're going to be going straight into a commercial, but we will be right back after this with more questions for you, Mike.
Oh, okay.
Stay tuned.
Nine-11 menampilkan pelbagai segmen menarik khas buat anda. Saksikan 9/11 setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat 9 pagi hanya di Bernama News Channel.
Listen to views of industry captains. Analyze and examine trends and projections. Gain market insights from subject matter experts. Biz Talk every Friday only on BNC.
Laporan berbagai dimensi memaparkan isu semasa, rancangan, warisan dan budaya dari dalam dan luar negara. Saksikan jurnal Bernama News Channel, semuanya tentang anda.
Nama saya Thomas, anak lelaki AUK Sani. Saya daripada Kajang. Pekerjaan saya plumber. Sebelum ini saya cari pelanggan, saya fotokopi pamphlet. Lebih kurang 1,000-2,000 pamphlet saya hantar rumah ke rumah. So boleh dapat customer satu bulan, satu customer, dua customer sahaja. Saya pernah berputus asa dalam bidang ini sebab kerja banyak kurang. Saya register ke servis CEO. Lepas tu servis CEO memperkenalkan ini rezeki. So lepas itu saya dapat banyak customer, income pun banyak.
Bin, sorry lambat, Bin, sorry lambat. Tak apa. Kau on tak malam ni? Mestilah on.
Syah keluar dulu
Dah malam lah Syah. Orang perempuan tak elok keluar malam-malam macam ni.
Mak! Syah dah besar ke, Mak? Pandai-pandailah Syah jaga diri.
Kalaulah Jah tak terlibat dengan Dadah.
Dadah membunuh, jauhi Dadah.
Hai, saya Amber Chia. Saya nak mengucapkan selamat berpuasa kepada semua rakyat Malaysia sama dengan penonton-penonton dari Bernama News Channel.
Hi, welcome back. Nadia and Sonia with you today. So we're talking about Sanggar Bahasa right now, and today we're looking at words commonly used, and the word today is giveaway. So in Bahasa it means hadiah percuma, and not as you heard, buy one get one free, which is actually wrong. So the meaning actually means a thing that is given for free and often for promotional purposes.
That's right. Giveaway and in Bahasa means a hadiah percuma. All right. Without further ado, I think we do have a special guest today. It is
we do
Hari
in
Guru.
conjunction with Teachers Day.
That's right. Mr. Jacob Matthews, who is the former headmaster and Tokoh Guru Malaysia 2013. He was the recipient of the National Tokoh Guru 2013 award.
That's right.
Do we have Mr. Jacob Matthews on the line?
Hello, Cikgu. How are you, sir?
Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Fine, thank you.
Good afternoon. Before we start,
I feel I'm in class.
That's right. Before we start, Happy Teachers Day, Mr. Jacobs.
Thank you, and I would like to wish all my old friends and teachers who are teaching today a happy Teachers Day. May God be with them.
Amazing.
Thank you.
All right. Before we start, do we address you? Sorry, Mr. Jacobs. Could you tell us a brief background about yourself? Where did you receive your education, and where do you pursue your teaching at in Malaysia?
Okay, I had my education in Singapore because at that time, when my dad was working in the estate, during the time of the communists, it was difficult to go to school.
Oh, okay.
So my uncle called me to Singapore, and I had all my education in Singapore, and that's where I learned. But I could not learn Bahasa there because there was no Bahasa being taught during those days in the 50s.
That's right.
But when I finished my studies, I could not go for further studies as my dad was not did not have enough money to send me for further studies. So I applied to become a teacher because I liked sports and I wanted to go deep into teaching.
What subject were you teaching, sir?
So I was teaching physical education and art and craft.
Wow.
And I was posted to Kelantan, Kota Baru, Kelantan. And the school that I started teaching was Maktab Sultan Ismail, Kota Baru, Kelantan.
So a shout out to all the
1965.
students there.
That's right.
Yes, I have got so many lovely students of those years.
That's right.
Until today, they contact me.
Wow, I think there's no doubt that a teacher's job is very fulfilling. Would you share any memorable moments that you had from all the years of teaching, Mr. Jacobs?
Yes, there's so many memorable moments. One which I will never forget is when I was teaching in Kelantan, and there was a boy at the age of 14 who took his bicycle and rode around the school corridor. And the teachers were wondering why. And finally he took the bike to the road, and everybody crowding around him, and he's with a compass in the hand, prepared to stab everybody who comes near him. And I went to him and I asked him, Ramli, what is the problem? Come to me and tell me. And you know what he did? He avoided all other teachers, but he came to me and hugged me and gave me that compass back. And I asked him, I held him and hugged him. And I took him to the canteen and sat with him. And I found out, on that day, he found out that the person with whom he is staying, they were not his parents. He realized he did not have his parents, and the parents had given him away. That was the biggest thing that I had, and I hugged him and I looked after him for a week. I had to take him to hospital and all kinds of things. And one other moment was in 1998 when I was diagnosed for third stage cancer. I told my students, and just imagine all the children, irrespective of race and religion, all of them prayed for me. And it is their prayer that has brought me to what I am today as a cancer survivor, and also as a senior volunteer for Malaysian Cancer Society, Magna. These are some of the very touching moments of my life.
Mr. Matthews, just listening to your stories really do strike a chord in us and reminds us every day the amount of sacrifices that teachers and educators make for us, and very often they are our second parents.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Mike. Oh, sorry, Mr. Matthews. Sorry. You talk about the ways you were a teacher for a very long time. What have you ever noticed any difference between the education system in Malaysia back then and now,
That's
Mr. Matthews?
Oh yes, in the early days, the children were so interested in coming to school. They enjoyed school life. They really loved coming every day, looking forward to all the activities in the school. And we teachers, we spend most of our time in the school, not thinking of money, but thinking of the children's future. And today, that is why these children of today are all pressed with examinations. From standard 1 right up to right now, I'm thankful to the minister, because as far as I see, he has removed examination for standard 1 to standard 3. That is the greatest thing for the children. But a lot of children have to be looked into the physical education part, because they need to build up their bodies, because right now we see there are many children who are obese, and as age goes up, sickness coming in.
Yeah,
so these are some of the difference that we had in the early days, where we spend our time in the school loving to teach the children, and today it is all concentration on academic qualifications, getting A's. Until the record now is a person having 21 A's.
Wow.
You see? Whereas in our days, it was limited. We just take 6 plus 2, 8 subjects. And I took the Cambridge School Certificate those days in Singapore. You see?
Thank you for sharing, Mr. Matthews. Unfortunately, we don't have that much time, but I do want to ask you, being someone who's so seasoned in the education system and seeing so many students go through the process, what do you think is your wish for a better education system in Malaysia, and how do we tackle some of the challenges that we currently have?
That's right.
I think the most important thing is we have to think God created us, and as teachers, we have to love all children irrespective of race, religion, and we must bring them up for the future with good character to avoid all unwanted type of things that is happening in the country, in the present day system, and so on. This
I
is one
cannot
of the
agree
and
with
I have
you
produced
more.
many national sportsmen. Some of them, I will say, even our minister, ex-minister, Dato Mustafa Muhammad was my student.
Okay.
And we have the former Chief Judge of Malaysia, Tun Arifin Zakaria, my ex-student, also a runner.
Wow, it's amazing that you've had so many leaders.
Owner of mining stores. And Dato Husamuddin, the owner of Sinar Karangkraf. There are many of them who have been, in one way or other, I have been involved with. And I'm so thankful to God Almighty for giving me the privilege to teach all the students, especially those in Kelantan where I really loved being there.
My goodness, you have made such a huge impact to so many people in their lives, and we hope that God continues to bless you for the amount of efforts that you've done. Thank you so much, Mr. Matthews.
Thank you, Mr.
Unfortunately,
Matthews.
that's all the time that we have with you today, and hopefully all your students will go out there and continue making a big impact in the country and in the world. Thank you so much, and happy Teachers Day,
Mr. Matthews.
So we'll be back for a little short break and back after this commercial.
Stay tuned.
Tiada agenda tersembunyi. Tiada ruang berteka-teki. Temu bual eksklusif menjawab segala persoalan. Saksikan Up Sound setiap Rabu 8.30 malam hanya di Bernama News Channel. Semuanya tentang anda.
Aku ada hal, aku balik dulu.
Weh, apa jap? Hal apa?
Sedap ni weh. Buat lagi.
Ni ada dah.
Beli lah.
Aku mana ada duit.
Aduh, potong lah. Jom lah.
Jom.
Awal ayah balik hari ni.
Farhan, ayah ada emergency meeting ni. Ayah kena off session 3 hari. So ayah nak cepat ni. Packing baju
Alah, barang kau. Lawa motor. Jom pusing-pusing.
Dadah perosak masa hadapan. Jauhi dadah.
9/11 menampilkan pelbagai segmen menarik khas buat anda. Saksikan 9/11 setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat 9 pagi hanya di Bernama News Channel.
Hai, nama saya Johar Bernama Syarifuddin. Penglibatan kami dalam penjualan di dalam media sosial seperti Facebook, Twitter, Instagram adalah setahun yang lepas. Keberkesanan internet dalam jualan adalah dari segi peningkatan jualan dan dari segi skop pemasaran semakin besar. Termasuk kita dapat customer luar daripada Malaysia seperti Singapura, China dan Filipin. Di media sosial dia ada banyak aspek yang mana boleh membantu dalam peningkatan jualan. Kerana media sosial yang ada sekarang semuanya percuma. Gunakan platform media sosial untuk memasarkan produk-produk dengan lebih meluas. Tak salah, kita cuba.
So they said we cannot afford property anymore?
But they also claim that more affordable properties will be built.
So they said we cannot get housing loan anymore?
But they also claim that there will be plenty of financing models and not just the bank alone.
So they said mega infrastructure project will not be carried on anymore?
But they also claim that this is a temporary suspension and it will go on after review.
So they said the property bubble is building up so big that we can no longer sustain it anymore.
But they also claim that there are plenty of people that are still looking for houses.
Hey Vincent, can you please stop it?
Okay, Chris. I will stop immediately as soon as they appear in our property hot seat show to answer all our questions.
I'm sure you'll be tuning in to listen directly from the horse's mouth.
Stay tuned.
Hi there, and thanks for joining us on Bernama today. I'm Sonia, together with Nadia. We'll be taking you through 13th of May 2019. It is the second week of the Ramadan season, and we do have a special guest with us today, Mr. Zairul Syafuddin Zainal Abidin, who is the Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Islamic Relief Malaysia. Hello there, Mr. Zairul Syafuddin, and thank you so much for being with us here today.
It's our pleasure. It's my pleasure. Yeah.
All right, so we talked about Islamic Relief, your representation from the Islamic Relief Malaysia. Could you perhaps tell us, give us a little bit background about what Islamic Relief Malaysia does?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here. Basically, Islamic Relief, we have been around for the last 36 years. We started off in the UK in Birmingham, and then we have been serving now more than 50 countries, regardless of race, colour and religion. And we have got about 4,000 to 5,000 staff full-time. And I'm currently heading the Malaysian office with about 60 staff. And the purpose of setting up of Islamic Relief Malaysia is just a continuity of the whole humanitarian network, which we have been actually doing the initiative, whether it be in relief, in development, in seasonal programs and so on. And my KPI basically is to raise funds from Malaysia for the local programs in Malaysia, as well as to actually channel our funds to the other countries, which is actually much, much more difficult than Malaysia. That is in a nutshell. Yeah.
So Malaysia is actually a hub for the projects that you're doing, not only in country but outbound as well?
I'm not really saying it's a hub, but it seems that Malaysia has been a model, it's part of the Islamic Relief family, because they see our stability and the good people that we have and so on. So in a way, indirectly, I've been also assigned to oversee some of the projects within the ASEAN countries.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you talk about the projects in ASEAN countries. Could you perhaps tell us what the ongoing projects? I know Nadia mentioned earlier Care for Hunger that's being run by you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Basically, when people come to Islamic Relief, I say we are not 24/7, we are 26/9. I'm not sure whether you guys understand what that means.
What does that mean?
It simply means that Islamic Relief never sleeps, because you're talking about more than 850 million people that sleeps hungry, every day, regardless of whether it is Ramadan or not. We are helping. We are talking about people with so-called fasting, but never know when they're supposed to be breaking their fast, because you're talking about famine and so on and so forth. Now, Care for Hunger is an initiative which we have implemented for the last two or 3 years. It becomes a signature. You can see in the photos itself, those are some of the beneficiaries, in Malaysia as well as abroad. Don't ask why 2018, because those photos were taken when we implemented this Ramadan Care for Hunger in 2018. That was last year. So as far as Care for Hunger is concerned, why we're putting Care for Hunger there is because we would like people to be actually mindful about that that's your neighbor and so on, who is actually in need, whether it be in short term, long term and so on. So the target of Care for Hunger would be, we are talking about serving 2 million people in more than 33 countries. We are talking here about 3,000 over food packs for about 2 million people, especially in countries where it's very difficult for you to have access. You're talking about Gaza, you're talking about Syria, you're talking about Yemen, you're talking about Somalia, you're talking about Bangladesh, you're talking about Sri Lanka. And these are countries which I have been there myself to see for my own self, risking our life sometimes. Sometimes we just call it humanitarian mission can be like a one-way ticket, because we're not sure whether we'll come back or not.
I'm going to push the envelope a bit and ask you, holding the banner Islamic Relief, I mean, in a time where, I don't like to say this, but a lot of hate-based crimes and people using the name of religion to push for their own ideals, have you found that Islamic Relief is having a tougher time trying to get into the places of conflict to provide assistance that you need, including Care for Hunger, just because you say you are Islamic Relief?
Yeah, definitely. Basically, all of the international humanitarian players, whether they are Christian-based, Muslim-based, and so on, we are facing that kind of challenges. What more with Islamophobia coming in? This becomes an opportunity for us to say that Islam is Rahmatan lil Alamin, it is Salam, it is peace. We are actually helping all, and this is what the Prophet have been teaching, through actions and so on. So with this small, humble effort that we're doing, helping all, regardless of race, color, religion, and whatnot, we hope that we can achieve this mission of creating a true caring world. because the world have got so much conflict, so much problem. Let's be part of the solution. So basically, coming back to care for hunger in Ramadan is not just talking about helping them. It's actually about helping us.
That's right.
It is inculcating the kind of spirit, the kind of mindset, to take care of others. Because now with the climate change issue, with all the political situation that is happening, gone are the days where we can say that this has got nothing to do with me, this is somebody else's issues and so on, because we are all interrelated in one world. That's why our vision, we strongly suggest, is about creating a caring world where communities are being empowered, social obligations are being fulfilled, and people respond as one to the suffering
regardless of race, religion.
Regardless of race,
That's right. I think that's a very, very good initiative, Zairul. There's the care for hunger efforts that you do during the Ramadan period in Malaysia. Could you also share, because you're present in different parts of the world, what are the difference between the Ramadan in Malaysia and in the other Islamic countries?
Yes, Alhamdulillah, I have my own opportunity, Alhamdulillah, to actually spend Ramadan in Somalia. Somalia is the top 3 very challenging country in the world. I was in Mogadishu, I went to Balad. Also in Jordan, where I spent the time with the Syrian beneficiaries there. It's definitely very much more challenging than what we could see in Malaysia, regardless of the kind of challenges that we're facing here. I used to put it in a more simple term to say this. I say that if you have got nothing to drink at home, at least you can see the river over there. At least the Malaysian river, there's still water flowing. But in these countries which I have been, the rivers have actually dried up. And we have been meeting with people who have got nothing to eat. That's why in the beginning of the conversation I was saying that to some people, it makes no difference for them. They have been fasting their whole lifetime. They have to carry water for 70 kilometers.
That's right.
40 to 50 kilometers walking daily. And we've met with actually children as well as women who have to walk their lifetime just to carry about 15 liters of water for survival purposes. At least we've got something to drink here. Forget what the color and so on. At least we've got some green leaves to eat. I've met with people in Afghanistan who have got nothing to eat, and they just have to they had to swallow pebbles. It's really kind of alas perut in that true sense.
That's right.
So taking into consideration these, donating is one thing, but pray for them and keep abreast with yourself about what is happening worldwide. That will help us to actually enrich our own spirituality, mindset, and so on, and become a better Malaysian as we move forward.
That's right. I think that's a very good point that you have there, Mrs. Zairul. You talk about, you have 60 people in Malaysia right now, and I'm hearing all this, and it's very amazing to hear that you have global presence. How can people help? If there are people out there,
how do we get on board?
Yes, who wants to volunteer, how do they get on board?
0389263434. 0389263434.
Could you repeat that to the camera, because that was a very important number for them to remember.
That's our office phone number, 0389263434. But nowadays everything is on mobile apps and so on. So just go to our Facebook, Islamic Relief Malaysia, or just go to our Instagram. Nowadays with the current generation, not my generation definitely, but I have to learn their style of doing things. It's IR_MY, Instagram or Twitter.
You're on Instagram as well?
As well,
okay.
Yes. Or basically to the website, www.islamic-relief.org.my.
Okay.
Great. I think we do have a lot more time. That's great. Maybe volunteers out there who are interested, they can start applying.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about the voluntary, the aspects of the people when they volunteer?
What sort of people are you looking for?
What sort of people are you looking for?
We're looking for everyone for that matter. Everyone for that matter. There's no age limit. There's no retirement age as far as volunteers are concerned. Number one. Number two is you don't have to carry physically heavy boxes. Leave it to the young guys. But we're talking about volunteering maybe even through your expertise, through your networks, through maybe just tweeting or just going FB Live.
Is this just in Malaysia, or you're also open to applicants around the world?
From around the world, because we've got even volunteers coming all the way from Canada, for that matter, from the UK. They've been here.
Right. But you're based in Malaysia, and what about the projects that are in other Islamic countries? Who runs it? Is it also run by?
interestingly, as far as the Islamic religious family is concerned, the projects is implemented by the field officers in that particular country. When I'm talking about Somalia, I'm talking about Somalian staff. They are local. They know what is happening. They know the culture. They know the mindset.
So national professionals to come in and be empowered to join.
And they are actually the one who is doing the assessment and so on. That's why I can give you now specific figures of these countries because our presence there are permanent presence. So as far as volunteers are concerned, talking about Malaysian, non-Malaysian, anyone can come in. But normally, as far as volunteering is concerned, we focus on our projects in Malaysia because we have never, we remember as well to play our role as a Malaysian-based NGO to help them, to help the needy Malaysians, whether it be urban poor as well as, in the villages and so on and so forth.
That's right. That's a very good point. You mentioned about Care for Hunger. That's a project that's being run in Malaysia during the Ramadan period. Let's talk about, besides the Ramadan period, what sort of projects that you run under the Islamic Relief Malaysia?
Basically, our concept has been we take the approach of a touch and stay.
Okay.
Of course, in
so
Malaysia,
it's different from touch and go.
The touch and go is fast and easy.
Yeah. So.
But as far as empowering people is concerned, you need time.
Okay.
You need time, you need to understand them, you need to do the assessment, you need to do visits and so on and so forth. So basically, Care for Hunger, Ramadan Care for Hunger is just part and parcel of the whole spectrum of packages that we have. We have got Cheer to School, we have got Sustainable Livelihood, we have got health and so on and so forth. You can imagine how we empower an Orang Asli community because from our assessment, this kampung actually is in Pahang. We found out that actually they like to play chess.
Oh.
And we managed to garner donors actually to buy good chess set for them.
Yeah.
And finally, these children, they've got that potential, and we managed to unlock it in such a way that not only they won the competition in Malaysia, but some of them actually represented us and actually captured some medals at the ASEAN level.
Wow. That's very good news.
From the Orang Asli, playing chess, going ASEAN level.
Yeah.
So we're talking about empowering people so that they can empower others, they can help others. It's not about giving the fish.
And these kids, did they actually teach themselves to play chess, or it was your volunteers who came in?
It was the volunteers, it was the teachers. We have to give credit to the teachers.
Wow.
They've got dedicated teachers, but sometimes they don't have the set. They don't have funds actually to buy a proper conducive play and so on. So this is where we come in. So the point that I'm trying to bring here is that our programs is actually year-round.
Yes.
Volunteers can come anytime. She's a co-volunteer as well. I brought her down to see the village and so on. So, and our role is just to facilitate. We've got great Malaysians, good Samaritans out there. Let's polish them and make them to be the best
Bring
Malaysian.
them out. Go down. They say turun padang, and help out these people.
Exactly.
I think that's a very good point. Another thing I wanted to ask: you talked about that chess. Is that one of the biggest projects, or with your Care for Hunger during Ramadan period? Consider what's your biggest project in general?
Okay, the biggest project is of course the Ramadan Care for Hunger.
Okay,
but then at the same time we are repairing houses too.
Repairing houses. Wow, this is like a wholesome.
It's nice to hear that. Islamic Relief is looking at what is the whole spectrum of need for the beneficiaries and the key stakeholders that you are trying to, assist. So you were talking about assistance for school-going children, and then it piqued my interest when you said sustainable livelihood. So could you share a little bit about what you mean by sustainable livelihood?
As far as sustainable livelihood is concerned, we have got cases where we empower our beneficiaries. They are urban poor in some of the PPR. They wanted to do some business like making kuih. One particular case is about selling corns.
Like microfinance for business?
Yes, that's right. But it's not only that. It's also about empowering them, about exposing them, giving them trainings, and then linking them up to various relevant institutions in Malaysia who actually does this kind of training to actually build a lot of entrepreneurs. So quite a number of them have moved up from the B40 all the way to T20, whatever. So from a zakat payer, from getting from
to a zakat contributor,
a recipient
and
to a
taxpayer.
zakat contributor.
That's great. Okay.
This is what we're talking about, empowering.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much, Mr. Zairo. I think that's all the time that we have in the studio for you today. Thank you so much for joining us on Bernama today. Signing out, I'm Sonia and Nadia.
And see you soon. Bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Rasuah ni dia satu perbuatan yang keji lah. Jadi rasuah ni kalau kita kata dalam bahasa Inggeris ni, untuk mendapat sesuatu you tak payah buat apa orang kata SOP lah. As long as you orang yang nak bagi dan orang yang nak menerima bekerjasama.
Rasa pada pandangan saya ni itu satu jenayah. Dia tak akan manfaatkan masyarakat kita kat Malaysia.